Yes. Just think we live on the U of the tube. Greetings, salutations, everyone. How y'all doing? Greetings in GCP online. How are you doing? Are you doing over there on YouTube? Yeah. I'm just gonna step into it because I'm gonna get a violation for directing people off the app anyway. Might as well lean into it, right? Yeah. So doing your Hellboy impression. Is that it? Is it's like, hold on. Hold on. What about that more looks like Mouseketeers? Am I Mouseketeer? Like Hellboy right here? He- yeah. No. I see what you mean though. Like if I do it like this, looks like I have sawed off horns. What's up, Robert? Greetings, salutations, everyone. Come on in. Come on in. We're gonna have interesting time because we're gonna talk about history and we're gonna talk some about some things today. First things first. Um, let's get this promo popping. Yeah, let's get the promo popping. Let's get the promo popping. Let's get the promo popping. Pop, 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 pop. We're here. Dun, 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 dun.
Conversations with TNathan delves into the stories of activists, scholars, and everyday heroes who have fought to continue the fight for justice, equality, and liberation. Not only will he educate and inform, but also empowers listeners to become active participants in the ongoing fight for justice. Every night at 11 Eastern on the GCPR network.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to Conversations with T. Nathan. I can back it up a little now since I don't have.
GCPR network at 11 Eastern on the
If
GC.
I pause, I want to back it up. Yeah, that's my scene right there. That's my scene. That's what I want to back it up to. Hey, got Bella in there. Uh, yes, Mamie Till and who's the other one? Anybody know? Anybody know? Y'all knew this was Mamie Till. That's why I gave you that one, right? Gave you Mamie Till. But I'll tell you, this woman on on this side, Bella is named after her in whole, because her name, Bella's full name is Belladonna Fannie Lou Hamer Fairley. Yes, Bella's part of Bella's official name is Belladonna Fannie Lou Hamer Fairley, and this is the goddess, the one, the only, the incomparable Fannie Lou Hamer. No, we had to put her up there on the conversation stage. I'm a 2000 baby. Yep, that's all right. You gonna Uncle know you gonna know. Yeah, greetings, greetings, greetings. Yes, you gonna know who Fannie Lou Hamer is. Yes, we're not going to allow the whitewashing of history to take place, and anybody call me uncle. Yeah, nobody call me uncle is going to allow current whitewashing of history. And anybody who comes to this channel and watches me is not going to say they didn't know, because we're going to be all over history. I'm telling you, I am incorporating that into my show going forward, that we're going to talk and we're going to unwhitewash history. And I'm going to share things with you all that if you didn't know, you can't say you didn't know. And we're going to do it in short bursts. I'm going to ask some questions about each topic we get into. But yeah, we're going to do that. And today, I want to I want to also acknowledge today that uh, let's talk about what happened here. Villanova, Philadelphia, and Pennsylvania. Um, Villanova reported of active shooter turned out to be a hoax. According to the president, if you watch my last video on my main page, I go over the letter email that the president sent out after troops are all over Villanova campus. The Villanova, this was a hoax. This was a hoax. It's like I don't even know the level of diabolicalness that is. I think it's. funny to listen. We live in a society where this is normal, and I said that in the video. This is a day and age where we're used to, almost desensitized to, children running for their lives on campuses. Yeah, we're they said that no one was injured with all that response. Right, and that's the thing, Jackie. Somebody could have been injured easily in this response. Somebody could have been injured easy in this response. And, I just, and that's another to say, that's why I was running late tonight, because my students, and then I like sweatshirt. Yeah, just don't ask me to stand up. Can't stand up because damn these sweatpants are tight. Um, yeah, you can't um you can't even fault people for their response because this is a normal occurrence. This is a normal occurrence. We are so used. When I first heard about it, I was on the phone. I was on the phone. Scrooge lives in Pennsylvania. Yeah, I just doxed him. Um, I didn't tell you exactly where, but I called, text him to see what the local news station was saying. By that time, I had got a notice in my inbox from a friend of mine that they had forwarded me the letter that the president had been putting out. Petra had contacted me and was telling, we were talking about, and Petra sent me the text at the first same time I was watching the story unfold, because she's like that. She'll send me text messages or something going on because we are like tuned in together, and it's like, oh yeah, I'm watching that right now unfold. And to find out this was a hoax, and to see the videos of people running and fleeing. Yeah, today was freshman orientation mass, right? So like Robert said, people are just getting back to school, and we don't even wait till the school season anymore. It's like, yep, step foot on a school campus, you're not safe. I remember the days, and I don't know who will remember these with me, even though these drills were useless, but we had them. Nuclear bomb drills, where we would get under the desk, bend our heads over, like that was going to miraculously protect us against a nuclear bomb detonating anywhere in the area that we needed a drill for, right? Like that was going to protect us. But we had nuclear bomb drills. And today, I think about it every day now. The Crumb Snatchers are back in school. It's like I literally want to go up there and patrol the grounds. I really want them at one school, and I really want to just go up there and patrol the grounds, because I've had instances of gun, guns being taken to school. If y'all remember when I was in Mississippi, and ran to the school because they had a gun was found in the backpack of a 6-year-old. Come to find out that her guardian was hiding the gun and put it in the backpack of a 6-year-old child. Um, I don't know. I don't know who thought that was a good idea, but that guardian, it was also a friend of the mayor, so they didn't get too much backlash. Luckily, a teacher found the gun in the backpack, and that was a good thing. But this is what we get. This is society we live in right now. We live in a society where it's not nuclear bomb drills. It's actually talking. I remember the first time Crumb Snatcher told me they have a school shooter plan. Have y'all, all of y'all have children, or grandchildren? Have y'all encompasses that yet? That wrap your mind around your children are going to a school and they have actual school shooter drills. They do Alice drills at my daughter's school. Really, right? And it's like, and you're sitting here like, I have one job. I truly, you have one job, even as a grandparent. Yeah, I have one job. Even to the children that I'm around, I have one job to protect them. And that's one of some of the in tutoring. Y'all don't want to know the extremes I go to in tutoring as far as keeping children safe. Don't want to know. Don't want to know. It probably it's like, but and it's the thing about it is the children understand them. That's what scares me even more. That as extreme as I am, the children get it. They like, yes, sir. Yes, sir. You got it. We're doing we're doing two, I don't know if I call it school shooter drills because we're in a church. So I'm gonna call them church drills about how to get out safely while I distract the shooter. That's my thing. Distract him with some lead. Yes. Yes. Don't ask, don't tell. Yes, lead. That's my answer to school shooters. And it's to also make sure the students are protected. And I, listen, and Gracie, anyway, I bought some little cameras. I had some extra money one time, and I bought little cameras and put in our hallways and around our classroom. And I'm literally have my computer open. I don't need my computer to teach. I got my computer open because I'm monitoring damn cameras in lecture. Yeah. I know people thinking, oh, he's reading off a script. No, I'm not reading off a script. I don't need anything like that. But I am literally monitoring Wi-Fi on these little cameras in real time. Yeah, because that's a reality. How many ice raids will take place in school this year? And that's another reason I got these damn cameras, Gracie. Just for that too, in case somebody feel lucky. Okay, if y'all don't see me, y'all know, mm, that's it. Because that's it. And then to know that there are schools that are actually having these discussions with students about what to do in case of an ice drill. Yeah, this is it. And I can understand the nature of how students are literally terrified. Students are literally terrified. The worst thing you used to have to worry about going to school was, I don't mean to underscore it because I understand some people are still traumatized because they haven't gotten over it, was being semi-bullied. I'm not even talking about extreme bullying. I'm just talking about, some of us couldn't fight or didn't fight. We were bullied, and let me tell you, my philosophy on bullying was hit them in the face the first time they bully you. First time. That was my response to the first time I went to a school and this that had three black people in it. And this Pepper Pounds tried to tell me how it was going to be. I put his head in the locker. Yeah, my locker. Yep. Never had any more problems. Never had any more problems. I was like, I didn't even know what made people think they could walk up to me and bully me. I remember the only class reunion I went to, and I'm thinking in my head when I'm looking at this overweight, washed up high school athlete, right? And I'm wondering, what in the world think that this was a good idea to try to bully one of the tallest kids in high school, and yeah, I had a big head. See the big head, right? I always had it. I just be wondering, what made you think that was a good idea? And that's because we don't fight back in society. Well, more about that later. I'm gonna save the rest of the story for the night that Gracie tells me I'm supposed to be answering questions. Yeah, I'm supposed to be answering questions. It never turns out well because I wind up telling the stories anyway, and most of you all who have followed me know the stories. Um, right. So let's get into it. Also, anything happening today? Donald Trump took a tour of DC to visit National Guard troops because the people in DC are not. Listen, the people in DC are telling you they don't feel safe. And what do? That's what we do. My heart and soul is breaking when I think about all that is happening. Yep, this is Gracie. You can't. I know it is, but you here, you're part of the fam now. You can't even, you don't have those luxuries. You can't afford your heart to break or your soul to break because we got too much work to do. I need it, and I need you to use that energy to because we have work to do. We can't even sit back. Your live, hey, got it. Your live is not eligible for recommendation and restricted in search engines because it primarily directs people. I don't know what it is, Petra. I'm not whatever it is. I'm not even. I'm just leaning into it now. I'm leaning into it. It does not matter. Everywhere I go, I get either page. I get the same thing. So let's get it. Tonight we're gonna have history classes, right? We're gonna do some history, and you all gonna tell me what you all know about what I'm talking about afterwards. I hear you, T. Right. Trust me. The tears come. I cry. Don't get it. No, I'm not telling you not to feel. I'm just saying we just can't let it paralyze us. Oh, I cry. Y'all know I cry. I cry, and I'm the most dangerous when I'm crying because then I'm like, yep, we need to beat somebody up. So that is it. Now, I need to learn history. Well, good, Robert. Let's get to the first part. Well, first, I'm addressing a man, and I'm going to talk about some of the things we did. And I have so many unwhitewashing the history videos. I'm going to share them as we go through the weeks. We'll share them, and I'm going to answer questions because I want to ask you. T, I have a question. Hey, okay. Well, you formulated. Um, they ever confirmed if UTC was confirmed as host? Well, I think no, I haven't got the confirmation, but I'm thinking it was because they're being too catty. They're being too cagey about it. No one's hurt. No, they don't have a shooter. So I don't know for sure, like I do with this, because they came out and the president released something, and you know me, until I get an official statement, I don't like to give a subjector on it because that's what it would be at this time. So, but I am still monitoring that situation in my ear. So if it comes up, I'll let you know. Let's get it.
Well, let's see what TikTok violates this video for. If you want to pause and let me know what you
This is a
think the
new video
violation is
from
going to
today,
be in the
but
comment
we're gonna
section,
cover some history in
now
it.
would be a good time. Okay, you've had enough time. Let's get to it. Womp tom.
You at
So
work,
weird
Jay?
watching black people get mad at white people for starting functioning white communities. It's like, you know how happy we'd be to see black people start a functioning black community? Like, we would leave you to it. We would be, oh my goodness, good for you guys. Unironically.
Who's gonna tell him? Like you all left us to it in Rosewood, Florida? No, no, no. You mean how you left us to it in the Greenwood district of Tulsa by fire. Wait. Not by fire? Or maybe you mean how you left us to it by water in Oscarville,
That's Petra.
Georgia, that you flooded our community and built a lake on top of it. Or maybe you meant how you left us to it when we elected an all-black city council and mayor in Wilmington, North Carolina in 1898 that resulted in a
All right, Jay. Got
massacre of black people. Or maybe you
check out the
mean
other
like
page,
when
Jay.
the
Tell me if
black
it's clear.
farmers in Elaine, Arkansas tried to organize for better treatment and they wind up getting massacred. That kind of organization. Or maybe you mean how the white mobs in
How many of
Atlanta
y'all
in
knew about these?
1906
All of these.
were just
These are
going
just
around
scratching the surface.
randomly killing black people in the predominantly black section of Atlanta just because. No. Continue, because history is obviously not your strong suit, but continue.
You already have the demographics in Jackson and Detroit. There are zero scenarios where the political outcomes of those cities are not entirely within the parameters of black organization.
Well, we've already established that history
You mentioned
is
my
not
state,
his strong
Mississippi.
suit. Now we are establishing that modern politics is not his strong suit either. He's talking about Jackson, Mississippi, in a state where no black man or woman has won statewide office in Mississippi in the last 129 years. He's talking about the demographics in Jackson like it's not in Mississippi, where Republican lawmakers are coming up with a plan to set up a new court system in the
Right, Amy.
capital of Mississippi, Jackson, that has its own state-run police
Welcome, Shay.
and will have its own separate justice system for black people. Jim Crow 2.0, anyone? And did you say Detroit as the one in Michigan where they're having a legal battle over racial makeup of districts in Michigan? And the courts have said that the commissioners went
Wait
too
for it. Wait
far
for it.
in lowering the percentage of Detroit area districts, thus making it harder for people of color to elect candidates of their choosing. The same Detroit that Mike Dugan is the mayor for his third term. You can't make this up. Continue.
So turn it into Wakanda. Like, I would feel solidarity and pride
Wait
with
for
a
it.
95% low crime, high productivity black city, or several in the United
Wakanda. This man just told us to turn a black city in the United States into some fictionalized version of blackness in a fictionalized world where black people had never been colonized and had 100% access to all of their resources. What is wrong with you all? Do you all stop to think about what you're saying? That you realize it's so bad that you had to reach and grab a fictional city out of a Marvel comic book? Yeah. You all don't think this through, do you all?
I would feel solidarity and pride with a 95% low crime, high productivity black city, or several in the United States.
You mean like the city of Mound Bayou, Mississippi? The city that Mamie Till and all the black reporters that came to Mississippi to cover the trial of the men who murdered her son had to stay in because they were not welcome at hotels in Money, Mississippi because they were all white, and the crime level in Mound Bayou, Mississippi was zero. They had their own policing of the community and productivity. Yeah, it was one of the richest cities in Mississippi. That kind of you all kill me when you always quantify it by standards like 95% low crime that you all don't even create in the cities that you all have created in this country since its inception. Listen. And the idea that you thinking black people are mad that white supremacists are running around here forming cities like they have done since they first stepped foot on Turtle Island, you got us fucked up. See, what we're waiting for is for you all to name this newest haven of whiteness so we will know what page to put it on in the Green Book. If you don't know, I advise you to go Google it. Y'all have the day you deserve, and may the ancestors judge you accordingly. Somebody, man, you can't make this up.
Listen. Like I say, you can't make this up. This man got on Beyonce and Blue Ivy's internet and started to talk about they would leave us alone. Listen, it's just an idea that in the face of history, that this man said, "Oh, we be welcoming you, be welcome," and then it's an idea that say, "Create your own Wakanda, go create your own Narnia." God, listen, you people create our own Wakanda. It's like a fictionalized place and a fictionalized comic book is the standard you gonna now you we don't just get to create ourselves, we gotta create Wakanda. You can't make this up. And I'm like, do people listen? What's up, Cam? Do people listen to what they say? He said, if we went and created our own Wakanda, you would have no choice but to leave us alone. We'll leave you alone. I'm like, do y'all think this through well before you start this BS? This, that just really took me out. All the things he said in that video that I responded to, that one really left me like, really, Wakanda, huh? So we got to be magical, technically advanced Negroes to have a safe haven city. That's what we need. And then we got to get it to 95% low violence and high production when most of your cities don't meet that standard. Most of your cities don't meet that standard. But that's what we'll leave you alone then. You ain't left us alone whenever. And we're going to talk about some of those. See, that was the opening. And we're going to talk about some of those. So, has anybody heard of Wilmington, North Carolina, the massacre that took place there? Yeah. What's up? What's up, nephew? Anybody? So we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about that, and this, like I say, Thursdays, Wednesday and Thursday, we're gonna do spot history. If nothing major happens to go over, we can go over. I know you have. Yeah, you know me. I know y'all have. But let's get to it because I made this video after the coup attempt in the that happened on January the 6th, right? I made this video, but it's interesting that we talk about how, black people, we leave you alone, you self-sustaining. When does that happen? Somebody,
In light of the coup attempt called for by the current occupant of 1600 Black Lives Matter Avenue today that unfolded on the state capitol, I thought I would take the unwhitewashing of history today
I had to
and talk
censor
about the
Negro.
only successful coup attempt in American history that took place in Wilmington, North
They
Carolina.
don't teach this
Now, on the
coup
morning
attempt,
of
do they?
10 November 1898, a group of white supremacists joined with local militia to terrorize the
Robert
black
London was in
residents
there.
of Wilmington and its newly formed all black government. Now, prior to this, Wilmington was the most progressive and thriving black city in this country. On this date, every black elected official was run out of town and over 250 black people were slaughtered. The leader of this massacre, a former congressman, set himself up as mayor and appointed an all-white government. It will be over 75 years before another black person was elected to public office.
Yeah. And this is the parts of history, right? That already whitewashed, and this administration is seeking to whitewash it even more. And I just be damned if I have to teach history in between rants about the present age and how they tie together. That's what we're gonna do. If we have to teach history while we're slanging, that's what we're gonna do because this is you can't talk about this country without talking about what this country has done and to this era of illusion you all have about, why do we feel the way we do about the country? It is valid because you still haven't did anything to address, and people will always throw up in your face like the standard is you're not in chains anymore. When I hear people say that and they say, "Well, y'all should be thankful. We have made a lot of progress. I mean, you all are not in chains anymore." I'd be wanting to slap somebody and they say that. I said, did you really just say to me that we need to be thankful that the standard of being in chains is what we should be grateful for? The standards of being in chains. Oh, and Gracie, I was meant to, you said the music in the first video was appropriate. If you notice, I have to put music in my videos now to get them by the censors. Yeah, that video was on my page for like 2 hours and it wouldn't be released. So I had to delete it, add music to it, and I put it back up because I don't even be knowing what word I'm saying that's triggering. Yeah, that I have to put music. Really don't. I don't. I just say, we'll adjust somewhat. We'll adjust. Yeah. To be grateful that we're not in chains is the progress they are committing. Oh, y'all used to be in chains, and I'll be like, hmm. I'll be contemplating roundhouse kick, or do I do a savate kick to the neck? Or do I do a ridge hand to the neck? I just be thinking. If people would know what I'm thinking about when I'm looking at them when they say some stupid shit, I would hope that they would not say it. Because I be thinking, I'm telling you, violence. Every time. Every time. It is violence. And somebody who's been with me somewhere, and they say, well, something happened, up, TNathan is about to go off. Directing traffic. If the traffic is not moving fast enough somewhere, I will jump out the vehicle because I'm not driving and go direct traffic. And people be like, they be like, yeah, do what he say because he doesn't look like the type. And I wish you would bring your two car too close to me. Yep, I wish you would. People on these people go to events and act like they don't know how to drive all of a sudden. And I'll be like, oh no, I'm not staying in traffic all day. I will jump out the car. And no, not allegedly, I did it. I will jump. Ask the nephew. He in here. Petrus, I've done it. There was a what was that Petrol? Was it Black Beach or was it Cruising the Coast? It was one of those. And I even filmed the video. People have video. It's like, did he just jump out the vehicle and start directing traffic? Yeah, because you all act like y'all don't know what y'all doing. Yep. I want to use Elmer Fudd shotgun. That's it. That's it. Because at the end of the day, people act like they don't know what they're doing. And it irritates me. So that's Wilmington. And we're going to talk about, we're going to move from Wilmington and we're going to go to the year I was born. What do you all call the summer? What do you all call the summer of 1967? What do you all call the summer of 1967? The planning stages of Woodstock was taking place. What did y'all call it? Officer, we hit this car. Me. What is what do y'all call the summer of 1967? Let me tell you what it's let me tell you what we call
In this segment, In this segment of the unwhitewashing of history, we'll be talking about the long, hot summer of 1967. Now, a lot of you all might have believed that the summer of 67 was just the summer of love because of Woodstock and the advertising to hide the fact that racial violence was going on all across this land. During the first half of 1967, there were 164 reported cases of civil disorder spread out across 35 states, but the worst was yet to come. One of my favorite pictures from 1967. But at the heart of all of this was the racial injustices, the oppression, and the police brutality that black people were still faced with even after the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Fires raged in 159 cities that summer, and no major city in the United States was untouched. But yet here we are, still protesting for the same thing.
it. Think about it. And like I say, these are short to inspire and I ain't gonna ask think about it. 1967, right? 1967, 100 plus US cities had fires burning in the predominantly black and brown areas of these villages, of these cities. And we didn't start the fire. Just gonna say that. We didn't start these fires. And I think it's so ironic. People remember it as the Summer of Love when Woodstock was actually the next year, and because this was the planning stages of Woodstock, and they did have some music festivals leading up to it. What's called the hippie era, because that's what history wants to remember. That's what I think about when I think about the long hot summer of '67 and how it was rebranded later as a summer of love. And I think about it because that's what the United States, that's what makes people want to feel comfortable. The actual racial history of this country. And this is the year I was born. I was born in 1967. That is the reason this is really, I think I caught a lot of the energy from it. And this is what was going on the year I was born. So we're not talking about 150 years ago. We're not talking about 100 years ago. We're talking about 57 years ago. This was a thing. This was a that cities burned. The same, and I made this and I pointed out that the same things we were protesting for in 2020 and 2021 were the same things we were protesting for in 1967, 1867, all the Jim Crow era. The same thing, racial and disparities in policing, in the criminal justice system, and access to resources and jobs. The same thing. So do you all understand what I say? Yeah. We're not doing things the same way anymore because we have the history of showing. When people say be patient, James Baldwin responded like, "How long should we wait?" This is what he's talking about. We have done this. Done that. We should have all have shirts. They've been there, done that. Anytime you talk about, well, we need social reform, we need to be patient against, no, been there, done that. Been there, done that. The only time we have seriously got any kind of reform in this country that lasted any amount of time, and by any amount of time, I say a couple of years, because then once the fires calm down, people go back to telling us to wait. All the fast tracking after the Civil Rights Acts, and like people thinking we're going to be post-racial, and to the year after the signing of the Civil Rights Acts, were the most lynchings occurred in this country since Reconstruction. Yeah, every time, every time. When you look at the fact that this is what we fight for, then we get to a certain plateau, white liberals will tell us to be patient. Like they always say it. We just got in power and we're trying to get everything, but we can't do everything all at once because white people will be mad. Yes, that was actually listen. There was actually a show. I used to watch Phil Donahue, and there was actually a show with this liberal New York man. I can't think of her name, but she was talking about, and they were talking about New York and the housing issues and all that. And they said she ran on this, and they listen. She said, "Well, we're working on it. We just get into office. You've been in office 4 months. You've been in office 4 months, and you haven't done anything on the campaign promises you made to black people to secure their vote. Not any legislation being drafted, not even a pseudo legislation being drafted, right? And you were telling us to just continue to be patient. But when you were going around black churches and promising us things that you were going to work on day one, yeah. So Republicans, Donald Trump is not the only liar out there. Don't get it twisted. I know people like to patience is overrated. I know people like to believe, oh, Donald Trump lied. We collectively, black people that are into politics or into social justice, look at all of them like you all have lied. You have come to our communities. You notice they don't kiss black babies. Well, we don't hold our babies up there to be kissed. Listen, I'm sorry. I always look at that and say, this is so strange. Politicians want to kiss babies. No, we're not holding our babies up there for you to kiss. They're not it. We see what happened when Donald Trump and the little black girl on stage, Joe Biden, the little black girl on stage. I look at those moments and say, you know what? I probably would have tried to kill a presidential candidate if you touched my 3-year-old daughter like that. Yeah, no, stay off stage. Stay off stage. I said what I said. There's been a slight exodus from New York to neighboring states like South Jersey. Yeah, but, and I was talking about the exodus last night from the Democratic Party to the Republican Party. A lot of it is because people now want to be who they want to be. They can be who they want to be. Now, we talked about 67, we talked about Wilmington. Let's go and talk about matching postcards.
All of the images that I have placed in the background of this video that I am strategically standing in front of are postcards. Postcards that have one thing in common. They're all known as lynching postcards. So in the unwhitewashing of history, I'll be talking about lynching postcards. Let's get it. These postcards, which depicted murder, brutalization, and sometimes even the burning of black men or women in a town square, did not come from the Civil War. They came from a period of time from 1890 to 1930, and they were traded with family members and friends across the country depicting these scenes. Scenes like this from Greenville, Texas, 1908. Or scenes like that of Bernie Simmons, who was hung from a tree with his hands tied behind his back, soaked in oil and set on fire while he was still alive. Over 6,000 public lynchings of black people took place during this time period, and these postcards are now collector's edition.
You understand that, Amy? You understand that these postcards are collector's editions now. But this is what, in the infancy of photography, people paid to commemorate these kind of things. They paid to commemorate the lynching of black people that they had criminal. That's why I be like, listening to people and they be like, "Oh, we're about law and order and justice." You didn't get it from your grandparents because your grandparents would have trumped up charges because black man whistled at a white woman and he wasn't even whistling at the white woman. Black man, and it always listen. It always involved 90% of the time. It involved a white woman, and just like we're gonna get into one later in the next week called Carol and Brian. But take you out of jail. The sheriff doesn't put out much. As a matter of fact, there's some cases where the sheriff left the doors to the jail open so you could come in and get them and not destroy the jail. They do it. And then you would string people up. That's why I hate when people misuse the word lynching to refer to something like Donald Trump did in the last election, talking about, oh, this is a digital lynching. There's no such thing. There is no such thing. If you all remember when we were in Montgomery at the Lynching Museum, I know the Museum for Peace and yeah, Justice. It's called the Lynching Museum in my mind because we are there remembering the lynchings that took place across this country after Reconstruction. We're not even talking about the lynching that happened when we were property because we were property. They don't have to be. I'm talking about the lynchings that happened in this country after Reconstruction. More than 5,000 of them after Reconstruction and during Jim Crow, 531 alone in Mississippi during this time period, and people disappearing. This is not the same. This is the history of this country. And the idea that you all don't want to acknowledge it or say, hey, yes, there were lynching postcards sent across the country before the federalization of of the United States Postal Service. People paid to have these cards sent to their loved ones in other states in the infancy of photography. Let that sink in. Instead of finding sunsets to take pictures of or commemorate great gatherings of happiness, they commemorated their great gathering of happiness with watching black people either hang and twitch or hang and burn. Mary Turner and her whole family were commemorated in postcards after being lynched and thrown off a bridge with a rope around their neck. Watch them twitch in. Yes, right. It was like, listen, people find it strange that the first battle of the World War of the Civil War, how they came out, people came out and with their baskets and their bonnets and their chariots and just in their no, not chariots, they were called buggies. I'm sorry, buggies. I know, Roman history when they had chariots and they buggies and they was sitting all proper. They spread their little blankets out and they thought they were just gonna watch this skirmish. Idea that was your idea shows you how um chariots. Yeah, I know. What was I watching? Think of chariots earlier. So modern. I know I'm a nerd, so I'd be having things like the Science Channel on in the background also when I'm doing things. But anyway, and so it must have been Modern Wonders. And but this is it. This is what people did. This is what the colonizer oppressor did. Do you understand there is nowhere in the history of black people, even cave drawings or hieroglyphic pictures depicting the lynching of another human being? And this, it's like, oh, we got photography now? Let's use photography to make lynching postcards. Nobody thought that was like, hmm. And this is the history that we don't want to tell in the Smithsonian. It's strange my cousin passed down between them a gas soaked, hung, huge braided rope. Nope, it's not. It's not. And then that's what I tell people when they talk about, oh, black people are violent. Well, if we are, we learn from the best. We learn from the best. Our violence is about self defense. Our violence, I tell you, I am violent and the protect. I believe in. See, you just had Billy. 400 years of better black men than me that tried to teach you all. So let's not do this. Now the ancestors like, well, they don't want to learn. Let's not do it. So let's show them how doing it looks. Yeah. So don't talk to me about history. I know it like the back of my hand. I know it. I do these things without cue cards. Without cue cards. Let's go in. Let's travel a little further back. Let's travel a little further back and talk about this racist ass idea.
Today's episode of Unwhitewashing History is Manifest Destiny. Now let's get it. Ah, Manifest Destiny. The most racist slogan in American history, quite possibly the world. Ah, go west, young man. Now, for those of you all who didn't pay attention in your whitewashed history class, Manifest Destiny was the belief by the colonizing settlers that they had been preordained by their God to settle all the land from sea to shining sea in North America. Forget the genocide that they would have to commit to do that. Hey, it was ordained by God. Now, even before the phrase manifest destiny was popularized by John L. O'Sullivan in 1845, that preordained by God was used to slaughter the Seminole Indians and their African former slave allies in 1818 by Andrew Jackson, he of the $20 bill and the seventh president of the United States.
Do y'all understand? Do y'all understand that when we're talking about history and the whitewashing of history, that every 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 bill, every major bill in U.S. currency, even the $2 bill, the presidents are slave owners. Every bill, presidents were slave owners or endorsed white supremacy open. You get that, right? So when we talk about, or we want to just, we just, when we gonna start taking them off of money? We're gonna take George Washington off. We're gonna take Thomas Jefferson off. Since you also y'all care so much about this despicable history when it comes to black people telling the story, when you gonna stop glorifying the slave owners? And Manifest Destiny, I remember growing up and hearing about Manifest Destiny, but my grandmother was an educator also, so she was like, "Yep, Manifest Destiny is racist. It's racist. It's the belief. Do you understand? 100 million indigenous people to this country were wiped out because God told them that they were manifestly destined to rule from sea to shining sea. Like this was actually a barren wilderness, and there was no people here between Plymouth Rock and what later became California. Can you imagine how they would be acting right now if Harriet Tubman actually got put on the 20? Right. 5 minute warning? All right. I remember studying Manifest Destiny, but I feel like I got the white version. Yeah, Manifest Destiny. Go west, young man. Go west. Settle on people's land. Settle on people's land and proceed to slaughter them. And it's scalping. Do you understand? Scalping, what they tried to attribute to indigenous people, was not an indigenous thing. Scalping was actually about how much they were paying for indigenous people's scalps. Indigenous people weren't running around here scalping white people. It was white people running around here and scalping indigenous people, and they were paying like $5 for their scalps. And then somehow we flipped that in history, like indigenous people were scalping us. No, indigenous people wasn't scalping you. I'm trying to teach you how to take a bath on a regular basis, but yeah, I know y'all probably interpreted that as scalping, but no, it was because there was a bounty put out on the heads of indigenous people. And even if it wasn't the indigenous people that they were at war with at the time, people were just killing indigenous people for their scalp because they were paying for them. Even even the so-called allies or the ones that they said were just not in harm, they were still watching people still killing them and selling their scalp because long black hair on some melanated skin and still long black hair on melanated skin. And that is the reality of it. That is part of the history story that we don't want to talk about. Yeah, but we're gonna be talking about it now in a minute. I like the way when I move, my camera refocusing me. Yeah, you like that? Yeah, I like that. And oh, can't leave. Let's go to this one is about to make a lot of people mad. I know some of y'all are Christians and you're about to get your feelings hurt. Yeah, this is gonna make some of y'all mad. Let's get it. Because I'm tired of this
In
narrative.
this episode of the Unwhitewashing of History, we'll be discussing that, contrary to the Bible, that the Israelites never were enslaved by the Egyptians, nor did they ever engage in any building of any pyramids as slave labor. Let's get it. First, there is no archaeological record of any Israelites or Hebrews being enslaved in ancient Kemet or a mass exodus of slaves across the Sinai Peninsula into ancient Kemet. And according to Papyrus record, the ancient Kemetans that built the pyramids were well-paid Kemetans. The pyramids were not even built during the time of the Exodus. They were built 2,000 years prior. Also concerning this alleged exodus, DNA evidence shows us that there was no procreation between the ancient Kemetans and the ancient Israelites, which would have occurred if they had been enslaved for hundreds of years.
I'm finna find all my middle and high school teachers and tell them to take notes from first. Listen, listen. There is there is no evidence to support this except the Bible, the same Bible that you have a burning tree talking, the same Bible that Adam was naming all the animals in the Garden of Eden. This is the evidence that they're always saying. And people get mad at me when I tell them there's no evidence that you all were ever enslaved in ancient Egypt. None, because the pyramids that you all talking about, you all were making. That's the running joke between me and my nephew. Is I tell him you've been working like a mythical Hebrew slave today, because the whole Ten Commandments where they took the straw and made you make bricks. Like, does that make sense to anybody? They would take straw from you to make bricks stronger for their building. Like somebody's gonna punish you by making you make substandard bricks for the pyramid. Make it make sense. Where them bricks at? The Egyptians were known for their brick making refinery. That's why they added straw. They were one of the first civilizations to add straw to brick to make it stronger. And you mean to tell me you think that, oh, they're going to take the straw and make us make you substandard materials? Yes, shut up. It doesn't even make sense. Listen, yeah, the fact that they had economy. Listen, and even that pirate it's like it's like when people say I'm articulate, like I'm a trained monkey. Like you find that a strange that an ancient civilization as commemorable as Egypt didn't have commerce, didn't have economies. Like whenever finds it strange that Rome had economies. I like it when people try to put Carthage in some other place except Africa. Carthage was in Africa, people. These places are in Africa, and I don't even really mention Egypt a lot because I don't have to. I have the Ethiopian Empire. I have I have this one also because uh, I have this empire to talk about.
In this
Timbuktu.
section of the Unwhitewashing of History, we'll be going to West Africa, to Mali, to talk about the University of Timbuktu. Now, the city of Timbuktu had the most universities of any nation. It was proof of the talent, creativity, and ingenuity of the African people. The University of Timbuktu was the world's first university. Long before the European Renaissance or any universities even appeared in Europe, University of Timbuktu was turning out scholars and was known for a library that rivaled that of the Library of Alexandria. At its peak, the University of Timbuktu had around 25,000 students that covered every area of learning from science, literature, mathematics, and medicine. It was in a city of 100,000 that was also thriving. And this was all before The European Renaissance.
And I say I use the word university because I want the technically the first school to be called a university was in Milan, the University of Milan, because they didn't call them universities. That's the thing. That's how people get by it. They say, oh, the first university was in Milan, Bologna, I call it. And yeah, technically, if you go by the European word, yes, that's what it was. But these institutions of higher learning that were in Timbuktu were something totally different even than those. And it gets me because now it has been reduced to catch-allism when people say, oh, from here to Timbuktu. Just say you don't know what Timbuktu is, because that would go to Timbuktu. They act like it's a mythical place. Timbuktu actually existed. It was a thriving economic center that had schools that they taught people medicine, mathematics. Another thing, do you understand the Egyptians created a whole branch of mathematics to build the pyramids, and you think they were trusting it to enslave people? Yeah, I don't think. I know. It's a little anger there, a little sensitive, because people have been taught by the Bible that Moses and his people escaped from Egypt and parted the Red Sea. And people coming out telling, yes, the Red Sea was parted and this because of a comet. Trying to justify Moses. Listen, listen. It didn't happen. I need to break it to you. It didn't happen. I did not know it was a real place. Yeah, Timbuktu is a real place. It was a real place in the Mali Empire. Um, People don't realize these were real places before Europe even existed, or Christendom, as it was originally called. Another thing people don't know, it was called Christendom, not Europe, and even all that wasn't that. Then let's come home some. Let's bring it in. I got two more. We're almost there. Any, mini, miny, mo. Catch a piggy by his toe. If he hollers, let go. My Shirley Chisholm.
Welcome to today's segment on unwhitewashing history. Let's get it. So before there was Kamala Harris, before there was Carol Mosley Braun, before there was every black woman that presently or has in the past served in the United States Congress, there was Shirley Anita Chisholm. Shirley Chisholm won her congressional seat in 1968, representing the 12th Congressional District of New York. She served in that capacity from 1969 to 1983. Now, if that wasn't enough, and in 1971 she announced her candidacy seeking the nomination of the Democratic Party for President of the United States, making her the first black woman to do so. In her autobiography, she said she understood that she would lose the nomination, but she knew her pioneering campaign would open the door for other black Americans and women.
And she was an immigrant. This is the gig that gets me right. I be listening to people talk about Black Americans like we're separate from the diaspora of our ancestors, and they be like Marcus Garvey, Shirley Chisholm, all these people, and it's like I be like, Tell me you just don't know history without telling me you don't know history." Shirley Chisholm was born to parents that immigrated to this country from Barbados. Shirley Chisholm was a force to be reckoned. Hold tight. Shirley Chisholm was a force to be reckoned with. She fought for, even during her campaign for presidency, right? Presidency in 1972, when Barry Goldwater said some of the most racist things directed at her, right? When we look at the fact that for her district in New York, what she did, how she campaigned for the community there of black people. And then I just listened to this diaspora bullshit from people who don't still can't tell me where their leader is. That I listen to this and people doing the work of white supremacy in the worldwide market of anti-blackness, and I'm like, I need you all to shut up. I really need you. I thought extraterrestrials built the pyramid. No, not yet, because I got one more thing. I'm sharing this one. I told DJ I was probably gonna run a little late because I'm sharing. I have a couple more things in history that people need to learn before they start opening their mouths. Um, that was Shirley Chisholm, and I just look at it and I was like looking at people. Do you know that Martin and Malcolm went to Ghana to celebrate its independence with them? Do you understand Ghanaians and South Africans supported financially the civil rights movement in the United States? Do you understand that the Pan Africanism was rooted in the idea of a universal blackness? I just be wondering. I was like, you all really know this? Why you all talking about your $1.8 trillion in spending power, that you are doing so at the expense of blackness while doing the work of white supremacy for them? Because there is no world that I'm going to allow to take place that doesn't involve me using my voice to unite the diaspora. There is not one. I've been to Ghana many times. If you follow me, you know that. That's where my grandmother came from. She didn't come from the Grand Canyon, which they want to say the pyramids are in. She came from Ghana in 1921 when Tulsa was burning, right? She came here and she brought that with us. And she married a black man from Mississippi and produced some big ass children, right? And we have all fought the fight of civil rights, not just in one area, but universally, right? When I talk to you about history, I talk to you about Soweto, where students were massacred because of apartheid that some black people in this country couldn't even bother to lift their fingers to acknowledge, much less to say that they were doing this before you were even aware of a daishiki. Yes, I feel some kind of way. I'm about to get on the soapbox, but let me stop myself. I'm going to stop myself. We're going to go to my last one. Um, and this is going to be, I hope it's my last one. Is that everything? I covered Israelites. I covered Wilmington. I covered lynching postcards. We just did Shirley Chisholm. We did Manifest Destiny. We did Timbuktu. I did the summer of 1967, right? All right, let's close it out. Medical apartheid. Let's talk about why we don't like doctors.
In this section of the unwhitewashing of history, we're going to talk about medical apartheid in this country and what has led to the fear black people have of trusting the medical system in this country. From the Tuskegee syphilis experiment to the story of Henrietta Lacks. And many people are becoming familiar with those stories. But let's talk about the story of the father of modern day gynecology. Sims is revered as a benefactor of women, although he conducted years of nightmarishly painful experiments on women that were slaves without their consent and without anesthesia. Now, as a plantation doctor, Sims here was in high demand. He attended to a lot of children, but he only used black children in his dangerous experiments. Oh, this is his statue at the Alabama State Capitol in Montgomery. Yeah.
Yeah. So hold tight before the family get on me about DJ. I think y'all like DJ more than y'all like me. Like I ain't called him and tell him I was gonna be like 50. I'm not even 15 minutes yet. I told him I'd be 15 minutes. What's up, GCPR? Thank you for spending this time with us. Hope the history lessons were good for you all, like they are, and I'm sharing this information. Like I said, we're going to do something like this at least once a week, if not twice, on slow news days when we finish critiquing whatever is happening in the world that adversely affects marginalized groups of people and women. So, but thanks for starting with you. We'll see you all tomorrow on the same mythological with Wakanda station at the same mythological Black Panther time, right? All right, DJ, it's all you. If I can find this cursor, yeah, it's all you, DJ. We out of here. All right, yeah, all right. Olivia, will you get off my back now? Yeah, and the DJ, he knows. he knows I'm gonna be DJ's lawyer too. DJ gonna get fired. He hired you. Listen, Thomas Thomas the villain is my friend. Yeah, yeah. Don't get DJ fired. No, at the time I made that video, listen, if you follow me, you know I was instrumental in having statues removed across the South. All in New Orleans with Marriott removing statues, right? Have advocating policy, throwing paint on. Hypothetically speaking, they removed the one in Montgomery after a little after that video. But yeah, I think they said they were going to put it. They're probably going to put it back. They're probably going to put it back within the next couple of years, right? If not the next couple of weeks, they're going to put them back. The statues that we worked so hard to remove, they're going to put them back and probably put guards on them. Yeah, because we're going to be part. Because hypothetically, um, pigeons are not the only thing that shit on statues of the Confederacy. And by shit, I mean paint. No, paint. Cow, cow done. Yeah, be right back. Phone call. So that is a hypothetical situation. Hypothetically speaking, right? 'Cause nobody would ever do that. You know, we do that, not at all. Dun, 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 dun. Thank you, Stacy. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Um, yeah, I didn't even have to ask Stacy. Thank you. Yes, we're still planning to be in St. Louis sometime next month. We still haven't figured it out, but we will. We'll be in St. Louis next month. Meal for those happy homeless. Um, I'm buying supplies as I can for the kids, as we can. We're just doing what we can do because they're safe, and I don't worry about ice running up in there on them. And they feel it's amazing that I can tell you about the kids. Right? It's amazing that their parents they care so much about their parents' safety that they don't want to be. The reason I started tutoring at this level, this time, I tutor all the time. I've always tutored. But the reason I started um, doing it in this manner is because I saw a need. Kids were not going to school last year because they were scared. No child should have to be scared to go to school. And it wasn't that they used to school shootings. I hate to say it like that, but now you have a whole nother level where ICE is coming up into schools, questioning students without lawyers present. And these kids just stopped going because they were scared. They knew their parents were here undocumented, and they know they don't want to be separated from them, or they didn't want to go to a country they never lived in before. So that's how we get to this point. That's why we're at this point, and a lot of these parents, and like last year, we're getting some that are just getting back out, but that's what we bought groceries for them, and because they were scared to go out, go to work, and we live in the Midwest, we live in Kansas, and ice is like ice in Kansas is like the people who participated and were Nazi sympathizers that they would call on their neighbor if they thought they were a Jew. That's what happens here. A lot of calling goes on. And that's why I counter it by calling ICE as much as possible. I didn't realize, listen, there are actual payphones. You understand? They still have payphones. But also, you get Google number on a burner phone. Get you a Google number on the burner phone, and you can also cause the ICE and report people. Just in case you didn't know, right? Just in case you were thinking, trying to understand how could you want to report somebody that's been in the country illegally since 1619 that was here when Plymouth Rock was landing on black people. Yeah, those people, if you want to report them, yeah, yeah, hypothetically speaking, you can do it that way. Burner phones only cost like $35. $35 $35, you too can tie up the switchboard of ICE in your area with really realistic, dependable reports. Can I report my state legislature? And listen, you laughing, Amy, but I reported, hypothetically speaking, people have reported because some of these state legislatures or local councilmen, their ancestry is suspicious. Their ancestry is suspicious. So, hypothetically speaking, I still got a few calls to make. Hypothetically speaking, right, we're concerned citizens. We want to make sure we getting the right people. People hiding in plain view, pretending like they got elected and everything, and yeah. And I'm gonna tell you, nothing else. We're just making sure ICE has something to do with that $17.5 billion extra they got. They were violent at a town hall last night. It's very upsetting. What town hall, Amy? Listen, do you need some help? Need some help? No, tell me. What I need to be called into, hypothetically, just doing our part. Got to report. Really, we got to do our part. Got to do our part. They're calling on all citizens, and we're citizens. So we got to do our part. Tan. I didn't know you had just was getting a tan. I thought you didn't like brown people. Why you tanning? I thought you had some, melanin in your blood that you needed to be examined. Yeah. I don't know how long you been in the country. I didn't know you until you run office. Yeah. So and we know voter fraud is a thing since that's what Trump said. Voter fraud is a thing. So you might have been involved in voter fraud for all I know. I didn't vote for you. Nobody I knew voted before you. So somehow you got all them votes. So let's check it out. Can't hurt, right? Can't hurt. Can't hurt talking off. And as we close out, I want to say this, right? And those of y'all who know me know this. Gerrymandering is wrong no matter who does it. It has always been wrong. But now that it's affecting white people as greatly as it is with their political power, now all of a sudden it's okay. Just go put that out there. And this is somebody I'm not even criticizing. I just want to point out the hypocrisy as we get to now doing what black people have been trying to get you all to do for years. Now, when all of a sudden the Democratic political power is in jeopardy, now we want to redistrict and use gerrymandering. We were using gerrymandering so much, we got Barack Obama out here campaigning for gerrymandering. And I'm just saying this, and I'm all for it. By the way, even though I'm laughing and joking, I'm all for fighting fire with napalm. I mean, you slap me, I believe in hitting you with a bat, so I don't care. But it's just the hypocrisy of listening to the same people. That's why I tell you, whenever it's about their political history, I mean, future or power, then all the stops come out. All the stops come out. Why don't y'all do this when you do? Why do you do this at the last census count? If you could gerrymander like this, you could have got away. You could have gerrymandered so much in California, Louisiana, I mean, and all the blue states, the most populous states. You could have gerrymandered so much, you could have ensured. You can ensure it. But now and it's still reactionatory. It's still reactionatory. And it's only reactionatory because, and then to hear them, this is the part that kills me, right? When I hear them making this argument, well, black and brown people are in jeopardy of being disenfranchised. So I'm looking at them like, don't get me wrong. I know you're doing what you're doing, but did you really just say that? You really just said we're doing this because we don't want black and brown people to be disenfranchised? The same black and brown people who have been disenfranchised that you told to wait, y'all gonna work on it? Make it make sense. Just say what it is. Say, oh, yeah, we need your help. You need our help. I'm all for giving you our help. What's up? Well, we need your help. We need to vote on this redistricting plan. Oh, redistricting plan. But didn't y'all tell us that the redistricting only happens every 10 years during census instead of because it's been happening in New York, meaning Louisiana? It seemed like it's a redistricting gerrymandering plan in front of the Supreme Court every other year in Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, and Tennessee, Georgia, and Florida. But I digress. But now you all of a sudden you want to put a referendum out and you need our help. What's in it for us? If you are truly an ally and you are truly about that life for marginalized communities, I need you to advocate what's in it for us. Because I hate to say it, but if we continue to do the same thing we've always done under the conditions we've always done them on, hoping and praying that people are going to do the right thing this time, we're going to continue to be doing the same thing next time. I'm gonna tell you one of the worst things in this history is that all this history I talk about is true, and black and brown people and the LGBTQ community have survived it and continue to survive it. We will figure it out. Does that mean that's the route I want to take? But before, no, but before I take the same route we always take and wait for the graciousness of the people that are in our communities trying to kiss babies to get election points, but when our communities are in need and you're in office, you're nowhere to be found. You're not even accepting phone calls from your constituents in the black community. Yeah, what's in it for us? We all have to start asking that question. We all have to start, we have to remind them that you all are representatives of us, not our leaders. You're not our leaders. You're our representatives. Our leaders, you're supposed to have your leaders in the community, and you're supposed to elect representatives to go represent your community in accordance with what you want. So from now on, I'm telling you all, don't vote for leaders. Vote for representatives that are going to exercise the will of the people and power to the people, power to the people all the time. Because if you're not going to do that, you all know I do not like democracy because I believe that at its core, democracy is too easily swayed by people who know nothing about the issues. It is not. It is too easily swayed by people who know nothing about it. And if it sounds like elitism, it's not that it's elitism. It's that this last election, elections before, have shown you that people will vote in accordance with their racism, not the issue. They don't even listen. You got poor white people voting in accordance with their racism to cut off programs that are a safety net for poor white people also. It's just the idea, but I look at this one big beautiful bill, right? And we're gonna cut and trying to figure out how to do this and keep people that are still working in the shelter, still working. And it's like, yes, of course, it comes to you. If you take a pay, I don't make any money now, but if that's what we have to do to keep people eating, we will do that. But it's the idea that now poor white people are throwing their lots in with billionaires that are advocating for programs that will adversely affect them. All in the idea of their racism. I know damn well TikTok didn't boot me out of the live. Turn my back for 1 second. Yeah, y'all get booted out of here. Listen, I haven't even got a note. I haven't got a notice about on my appeal either. But it is what it is. It is what it is. All right. YouTube, we out.